Hi, Rap Critic here, and yes, finally someone has suggested some music that I like! And it is Black History Month, so, well, these guys were an important part of my Black history, so fuck it. So let's talk about B.O.B.
Flatline.
No, God no! Get out of here, B.O.B. Nobody likes you! Instead, I want to talk about the song B.O.B. by Outkast, which stands for Bombs Over Baghdad. Now, as a kid, I fucking loved Outkast! Like, you don't even understand, Outkast was my life. I can't speak to how other people thought of them, but to me, they were the force that I aspired to live up to in my youth. Everything that they were and represented directly reflected my reality and my aspirations. They were Southern rappers who, while they were intelligent cats who always made wittier, more engaging music than many of their peers, were still never above pulling out a dope-ass party jam that got the people moving. Their music was funky but gritty. They wrote lyrical head-scratchers and produced musical head-bangers. Andre, represented me, the strange, awkward kid with a soul that loved singing as well as rapping, and Big Boi was the person that I wanted to be, the Southside smooth-talking ladies man with a silver tongue and a reputation behind his tough talk. I saw their music videos from when they first started, and they looked exactly like my street corners, and with their meteoric rise to fame, I saw those videos turn from what I lived with every day to the strange places where my mind wanted me to go every time I closed my eyes. They're one of the few mainstream artists that had explosive success, but never felt like they were compromising who they were as individuals. However, I will say there's one song that's always been a little confusing to me, and it's Bombs Over Baghdad. Don't get me wrong, it's a great song with an unmatchable energy. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard a rap song that sounded this fast and frantic before this one. But what was that title about? Like, what does Bombs Over Baghdad mean as a phrase? It's always been kind of elusive, especially since there's no real direct sentence structure that leads up to it. It's not given any straightforward context. It's phrased like we're supposed to know what it means, but I don't know if there's something that I missed, but I just don't. I mean, yeah, he precedes it with "don't pull the thing unless you plan to bang," which a lesser critic would be quick to assure you was a reference to sex. But a higher critic such as myself would let you know what this song is really about. Violence. Basically, don't pull your gun out to threaten someone unless you plan to use it. But why Baghdad? Was there some event that happened in Baghdad specifically where someone was, threatening to drop a bomb, but didn't? Because as far as I know, the British and Americans were actively pulling their things with the fulfilled promise of letting them bang back around that time. So where does this idea of using bombs over Baghdad as a cautionary phrase warning you not to threaten to do something unless you plan to go through with it come from? Well, maybe the verses will give us a little context, so let's start with Andre. Okay, so your first question might be, what the hell is in Slum National? Well, international means something relating to many countries. So in Slum National, a word that Andre 3000 made up, because he just kind of does that sometimes, is Andre specifically addressing the poor people of all countries worldwide. And what he intends on telling them is, look out, because Outkast is fucking awesome and we're striking with the force of 1 million elephants and silverback orangutans. Silverback orangutans aren't a thing. Maybe you meant to say silverback gorillas? But hey, gorilla doesn't rhyme with train, so you know. And hey, don't think I didn't see that zoom into the Jimi Hendrix picture which turns into you. You sly motherfucker, you. Who wants some, don't come unprepared, I'll be there, but when I leave there, better be a household name. So moving on, he says that Outkast is an unstoppable force, and by the time they're done, you're gonna know who they are. Weatherman telling us it ain't gonna rain, so now we sitting in a drop top soaking wet, in a silk suit trying not to sweat. Okay, now here's a dope set of lines. Right after the lines about them being known worldwide, he says a meteorologist tells them that everything would be sunny, so they thought they could ride through in a car that has the top down. But from the mention of being soaking wet, that prediction obviously turned out to be a lie. Possibly a metaphor for how they were promised fame was going to be relatively stress-free. And you can see that silk suit as their reputation, because despite them metaphorically being soaked to the bone by rainwater that represents the problems of life coming down on them, that sweat, which is the water that represents their response to the situations they're in, is the only thing people will be paying attention to. If they crack, if they show any form of weakness. But this be the year that we won't forget. 1999. I don't need anything gold. Be what you wanna be. Don't get you no consequences to giving for living. And here he's saying that you should pursue what you want to do in life. But be aware that there are consequences to your actions, similar to how there were consequences to Outkast's venture into music. And this actually seems to tie into the chorus's mantra of not starting something that you don't plan to finish. But still, where does the Baghdad thing play into this? Back of questions with no answers, cure for cancer, cure for AIDS, make it wanna stay on tour for days, get back home, things are wrong, when not really it was bad all along. Okay, so this part goes into how Andre uses music for escapism. When he's on tour, he doesn't think about what's going on in the outside world. He only cares about the relationship between the music, the artist, and the crowd. And you know, when he talks about getting home and being forced to deal with the fallout of the new problems of the day, only to remember, oh wait, it's always been this bad. It's like when you go on vacation and you experience the sights and sounds of a new place and new experiences, and then you come back home when the first thing you notice is that the inside of your house smells really bad for some reason, and your room is a lot dirtier than you remember it. It's not that it didn't smell or look dirty before, it's just that you had gotten used to those problems and are just now noticing how bad it is because you spent time away from it.
Throw your left ass up to a ball of power, thoughts at 1,000 miles per hour. Hello ghetto, let your brain breathe, believe there's always more.
And he ends his verse by addressing the collective ghettos of the world once more, in order to say, hey, I know these proverbial smelly houses and dirty rooms can cloud your brain and make you think there's no way out, but give yourself time to think and let your mind believe that there's more to your life than just this shitty situation you were born into. And in that way, you'll, what's the next thing that happens in the song? Yeah. Still not sure how this phrase fits in. While Andre can be a little heady and have the meanings of his words be hard to grasp, maybe if we go to the second verse with Big Boi's more direct delivery, he'll enlighten us.
Traces on. Did you ever think of him rock a microphone like that there boy and we still stay street? Big things happen every time we meet.
Once again, I get it. Outkast is awesome, but can we get a more unifying theme here?
Cause we get drunk, stay drunk at the club. Should've bought an ounce, but you caught the dub. Should've held back, but you throw the punch. Supposed to meet you good, but you packed the lunch.
Okay, so we Outkast are doing fantastic. We're getting drunk in the club, it's awesome. But on the other hand, you should have bought an ounce, but you copped a dub, and you should have not punched some random guy. Okay, in the first two lines, I get the contrast. You should have bought an ounce of this non-specific drug because an ounce is the typical weight that one associates with reselling a drug to make some money. But instead you thought short-sightedly and just bought a dub, which is an amount one would typically buy just to get high. And of course the next line is how you should have thought before you hit someone because of all the legal problems that come with assault. And okay, I'm seeing a general theme of thinking things through before you do them. But what's that part about you're supposed to meet a girl but you packed her lunch? I don't see how these are contrasting scenarios. Were you supposed to have a lunch date with your girlfriend, but instead you forgot that you already packed a ham sandwich, so like it'd be a waste of a ham sandwich to pay for another meal at a restaurant? I mean, in relation to the other things you mentioned, which were about either making money or losing money, this part seems like it's just about being temporarily inconvenienced.
No D to the U to the G for you.
Okay, so for those who don't know, Doug is short for Nappy Dugout. And, well, it's basically him saying that he's not getting any, you know. But now I have to ask, was this lunch date so important that missing it means that she wants to withhold sex from him? I mean, geez, maybe he accidentally left his lunchbox unzipped and the ham didn't stay cool, so he has to eat the sandwich before it rots. Cut the guy a break, woman.
Got a son on the way by the name of Bamboo. Got a little baby girl for a year, Jordan. Never turn my back on my kids for them.
Wait, I thought we were talking about some other guy not getting sex. What does this have to do with your family?
Should've hit it, rag top.
Okay, well, since ragtop is another word for like a drop top, like the car that has the top that goes down, what you're basically saying is you should have had sex with her, then fucking bounced, hit the road. Nobody got time for a chick who withholds sex because he missed one lunch date. Fuck that noise. You know, I'd actually agree with that. I mean, if that's the type of thing setting this person off, it's usually indicative of a bigger problem, and unless they're willing to have a discussion about it, it's probably best to walk away. Relationship advice with Rap Critic.
Make a business for yourself, boy, set some goals. Make a fat dime out of dusty cold.
Okay, and here we go back to the theme of controlling your own destiny. And
record number 4, but we on the road.
Wait.
Hold up, slow up, stop, control like Janet. Planet, stay on the Azonia. Moving like floor, come straight to Florida.
This part is just about how cool you guys are again.
Put it up on belt, cause the weapon's in order. Like a 3-piece bitch for your daughter.
What's this about having sex with my daughter? So you're pulling off a belt to whoop someone's ass like you'd pull off a 3-piece suit before whooping a girl's ass with your dick?
You can't talk about then I hit the border.
Okay, I don't know where you're going with this. Are you just hungry right now?
Pity pat rapper trying to get the vibe. I'm a microphone fiend trying to stay alive. When you come to ATL, boy, you bet not high, cause the Dungeon family gon' ride.
And he ends it by saying, yeah, fuck all you other rappers. We're the best. Outkast is awesome. What does this have anything to do with bombs over Baghdad? Well, after not getting any answers from the song itself, I decided to look up if they had been asked about the song before. And in a 2005 interview with Blender magazine, which, by the way, what took 5 years for anyone to ask what the hell this chorus is about? Seriously, was no one else curious about why an American rap group would name a song after the destruction of a major Middle Eastern city? But whatever, in the interview, Andre explains. While on the Equimini tour, Andre was watching TV, and this news reporter, she said something something and bombs over Baghdad. It sounded good. I knew I could use it somewhere. It just sounded good. That's it. But words mean things, damn it. Damn it. I'm sorry, I guess I just really wanted there to be some other meaning, the revelation of which would make the song even more deep and more challenging than it would be first received as. But these guys are musicians at heart, and sometimes it's just about what rolls out best. And it's kind of our jobs as listeners to make the connections. Sometimes it's easy to grasp, and sometimes you have to thread the meaning together yourself from clues given in the text. And even scattershot sounding stream of conscious lyrics can have a strange connecting link, but other times artists leave links that are purely broken off from the rest of the chain, unable to really find a perfect place to fit for it, but not wanting to let it go to waste. Sometimes those broken links can just be outright annoying, and other times they can add to the mystery of the music. Now, personally, I think it's kind of silly to bring up something that's obviously politically charged without an ounce of commentary, because it ends up sounding like you're just using a touchy subject to catch ears without justifying why they should be listening. But even with that flaw, it's still a pretty incredible song. I love it. The beat is another one of those songs that's an experience to behold and takes you to so many places orally. And the raps themselves, while definitely not flawless, still have little gems and slick turns of phrase that continue to make it an enduring listen. So, overall, I'd give it a 5 out of... Let me do that again. So overall, I can't do this anymore. Outkast, why did you leave? Why did you leave us? You're gonna make music forever. Andre, Big Boi, just get back together. Get back in the studio, man. We love you guys. We love you so much. Why did you leave us? Why did you leave us?